Boston Celtics, back-to-back straight wins. Impressive wins at that. A Jayson Tatum 50-plus point performance and a 50-plus point win? Have the Celtics turned a corner? Or is this just them doing what they're supposed to do against lesser teams? Let's review it next, guys. All right, Jags to riches, James Peters, straight to it. Where else to start but recent Jayson Tatum 50-point plus performance? Look, I'm going to quickly review the Kings and the Wizards game. I don't want to spend too much time going over everything, but where else to start but what Jayson Tatum did. Transitioning over, guys, to the box score. Celtics beat the Wizards 116-87. And as you see, Jayson Tatum, 51 points, plus 33 minutes. He actually was 18 for 28 from the field, 9 for 14 from the three-point line, 6 for 6 from the free throw. He also had 10 rebounds and 7 assists, nearly a triple-double, a 51-point triple-double watch. Lord have mercy. Jaylen Brown had 18 points, was a plus 12 with 10 rebounds. You had Marcus Smart returning. He was a plus 36 with 11 points, 6 assists, 4 steals, 4 rebounds. Coming off the bench, Grant Williams, who was a plus 6, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 6 defensive rebounds, 1 offensive rebound, but he was 2 for 3 from the three-point line. Now, why is this performance, why is it special? Well, obviously, James, it's a 50-plus one, performance. Not just that, but if you look at just my last video, it's actually on my Jags to Riches channel. Please subscribe to both that and Beast Movie and T if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it, guys. But it was me saying how many worse losses can a team have, and I was talking about the Portland Trailblazers and the fact that JT was on a 20 consecutive missed 3 streak. Well, talk about breaking out of a streak here with 9 three-pointers made. And when you see how he follows this next game up against the Kings, Lord have mercy. But like I said, it snaps that 20 three-pointers missed. Transitioning over to the opponent, just showing them a little bit of love here, guys. Normally, do I need to say, forgive me, who my player of the game was? Obviously, it's Jayson Tatum. For the Wizards, you'll see with this and the Kings game, it's really hard for me to say who the player of the game is because every single one of their players were in the negative. Even their star Bradley Beal, only 19 points. He was 7 for 17 from shooting, 0 for 3. He did have 7 assists with 5 rebounds, but just the rest of their team, Kyle Kuzma, 4 for 11 for 12 points. Montrezl Harrell, he had only 7 minutes and only had 3 points. Gafford was absolutely being cooked by Jayson Tatum. He only had 2 points. I don't want to be too hard on them. They've slowed down after an extremely hot start to the season. Don't forget, this team smacked us twice to start the year, but now they're actually under 500. So you follow that one up. Like I said, big win against the Wizards. That put us right back at 500. That was Jayson Tatum's 5th career 50-point game, and then you follow that up going in to the Sacramento game with a 128-75 win against the Kings. My player of the game, again, I'll just go with Jayson Tatum. 4 for 23 from the field, 7 for 14 from the 3, plus 36. He had 36 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. His partner in crime, former All-Star Jaylen Brown, also with a 30-point performance. He had 10 rebounds, 11 for 19 from the field, 5 for 12 from the 3. Marcus Smart didn't score a single point, but was a plus 36. Was only 0 for 3, 0 for 1 from the 3, but had 7 assists, 3 rebounds. Rob Williams. You wonder why it is that people say that this guy is a superstar, or not a superstar, but the Celtics' 3rd star. It's games like this. The man was a plus 42 in 27 minutes. He had 13 points, 17 rebounds. But he also had 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, was 6 for 8 from the field. Coming off the bench, you had Aaron Nesmith with 10. You had Grant was a plus 28 with 8 points. He had 3 boards, 3 assists, was 2 for 3 from the three-point line. Grant's been shooting good recently. These 2 for 3, 3 for 4, 3 for 5 performances are great. Jay Rich, Josh Richardson, 22 minutes. He was a plus 21, guys, with 14 points, but the man also had 8 rebounds. Just a fantastic performance overall. I mean, even Horford, who was 1 for 9, shot terrible, was still a plus 19 because he had 8 rebounds, 2 assists with 3 points. Now, showing love to the opponent. Normally, I would have a player of the game, but right below me here, guys. But again, every single one of their players was in the negatives, and they were, when you look at the box score here for the Kings, it was hard to even find. The only player that was in double digits was Buddy Hield with 11 points, but he was 4 for 14. He was 3 for 9 from 3, but 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Now in their defense, no De'Aaron Fox, but you had Tyrese Halliburton, 27 minutes. He only had 7 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. He was a negative 40. You had Harrison Barnes with only 4 points. You have Rashawn Holmes, 9 points, 9 boards. He is probably their most impressive. But again, guys, 128-75 win. This actual win put the Celtics back over 500 with a record of 25 wins and 24 losses. Now, excuse me, I will be periodically looking at my notes, but just some of my takeaways, guys. Back to the Wizards game. Like I said, this was a 51-point near triple-double performance. The man, Jayson Tatum, had 31 points by the half point. At halftime, he had 31, which, by the way, was a career high for points scored in the first half of a game. The man hit his 51 points with still over 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It actually, obviously, got taken out of the game. They were up by like 25 points at that point anyways. But when Jayson Tatum is on like this, guys, he's absolutely unstoppable. You're talking about a 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", whatever he is, you don't know what Tatum. He's somewhere between 19 and 24 years old, and he's somewhere between 6'8 and 6'10". The metrics with him are interesting, but you know what I mean. You got this tall forward who's starting to fill out physically in his frame, and it's just he can get to the basket and with a multitude of moves whenever he wants. Can finish with either hand, can go left, can go right, finishes strong, like I said. And then when he's shooting good, this is obviously a career year when it comes to how bad his shooting has been. All of the field goal, 3-point, all of thing is a career low. But when the man's shooting this 9 for 14, he's absolute. There's no one in the league that can stop him. And I made the point in that last video that even though he's having a career worse when it comes to shooting, he is still having a career best in rebounds, and he's having the second best career year when it comes to points and assists. So even though he's shooting his worst, he's still averaging the second most points of his entire career. This is a multiple-time All-Star. So that's my point, is that if Jayson Tatum was just shooting his normal splits, imagine what he would be doing right now. So when Tatum is playing like this, he's a top 10 player in the league, and he's unstoppable. Now, going over to the Kings game, again, that puts us over the 500 mark again. And Jaylen and Jayson go for 66 points combined. Jayson Tatum follows up his 51-point performance with a 36-point performance against the Kings. And then, of course, you had Jaylen Brown with a 30-point performance. And remember, I mentioned Jaylen had a 30-point and 10-board performance. Now, that is actually his 4th career game of having a 30 and 10. And it's actually his 2nd time this season, and JB has gone for 30 and 10. Now, Jayson Tatum, his last 2 games, remember I mentioned that streak of 20 consecutive missed threes? His last 2 games, he's attempted 28 three-pointers, and he's made 16 of them. Missed 20 straight. Now he's made 16 in the last 2 games, shooting 57% from 3. And if you look at his past 3 games from the field, he's averaging nearly 60% and averaging nearly 40 points a game, 38 to be exact, over the past 3 games. He's been phenomenal, and again, when these two are on like this, the numbers don't lie, guys. Jayson and Jaylen, when it comes to them two scoring 30 points or more together, the Celtics are 7-0. So when both of them have 30 or more on the stat, on that box score, the game's over. If you go to it and you see Jaylen and Jayson and both of them have 30 or more, the Celtics are 7-0. There's two ways to look at that. Like, I guess I'm a little surprised that it's only been 7 times throughout the entirety of their career. They both had 30-point performances together. But then again, I mean, 30 points, that is a lot when you really think of two people being able to achieve that at the same time. But then again, it's not surprising when you look at the fact that they're undefeated 7-0 over the course of their career when they do that. Looking at the specifics of the Kings game, guys, I mean, they had a 60-point lead at one point in this game. 60-point lead. They were literally up 33 points at halftime. That was the biggest lead since 2012 at half. They were up 38-13 after the first quarter. That's the biggest lead they've had after the first since 2010. And like I said, they were up by 60 points at a point. Man, no disrespect to the Kings, forgive me. But Marcus Smart, again, he didn't score a single point, but was a plus 36 with 7 assists in this game. And if I'd be curious to know how many assists he should have had. He probably should have had somewhere closer to 12, 13 if you account misses and then the hockey pass. Again, Rob Williams, phenomenal, man. He is, for his first full season as a starter, his development, I mean, that entire team loves him. Everything that he offers has been incredible. And if there's one person safe besides the Jays, it's him, because you hear how just Jayson and Jaylen and everyone talks about him. It's just, he does so much, you know what I mean? Defensively, he's a nightmare. And now he's averaging 13, points. He's one of the better passing bigs in the game. 17 rebounds. Very impressed with Rob Williams this year. And especially the month of January, he's really started to solidify himself as just an excellent young and upcoming starting center in this game. I'm very proud of him. So, otherwise, guys, excellent back-to-back wins for the Celtics. Apologies I didn't have these up sooner. But trade deadline fast approaching. What do we got? 2 weeks, something along those lines left. I would say, obviously, without going crazy or too much into it, I've talked, how many different episodes across both Trust the Podcast and individually have I talked about pretty much any and every trade scenario out there, all the rumors from the Sabonis to the Dames to the, XYZ, ABC, everything in between, guys, we've hit it. So I would just say keep your eye on from the Celtics side, maybe the Dennis Schroeders, the Al Horfords possibly. Those would be the guys, maybe one of the young guys, who knows, but I would say keep your eye out them. Maybe Josh Richardson, and at biggest, a Marcus Smart, but unlikely. But I would say from the Celtics side, just keep your eye on Schroeder and maybe Al. And then as far as guys coming in, if I had to guess, I would say, big, maybe keep your eye on a Harrison Barnes. Maybe a Terrence Ross, Doug McDermott, those type of players, on the smaller side. But yeah, maybe a Harrison Barnes. I would say that's a safe, person or that caliber to keep your eye on. A big splash, you might want me to say. I would say maybe keep your eye on, Buddy Hield, Jeremy Grant, kind of guys along those lines. Maybe Yusuf Nurkic. Keep your eye on all the Portland, Pacers, Sacramento guys. Because like I said, there's rumors. I mean, literally just a few hours ago, I was hearing the recent Marcus Smarts where it was the Mavericks and the Hawks. I mean, they were talking about a Marcus Smart for John Collins trade, that rumor. And then there was a Marcus Smart, and I think it was for Jalen Brunson, Maxi Kleber, and the Mavs, something like that. I mean, so like I said, you could type in any player's name and you'd have a list of trade rumors, guys. So like I said, keep your eye on maybe Schroeder and Al leaving. And keep your eye on Sacramento, Pacers, Trailblazers, teams like that. You know what I mean? Terrence Ross, Harrison Barnes would be my guys to, keep an eye out for. Otherwise, Celtics are hot right now, guys. We've won 7 out of the last 10 games. Very proud of this team. Talk about Jayson Tatum exploding out of a streak. He said it himself, maybe it's a blessing in disguise because he had to find ways to score anyways, and it was a matter of time before he did get out of this slump. I mean, Lord have mercy, the guy's been in the league for how many years now? Every other year, he shot somewhere between 37 and 40% from three, and this year, for the majority, he was in the low 30s. And now he's starting to come back up. He's closing back in on the mid-30s now. So slowly but surely, hopefully this will balance out with his shooting. And it'll be just in time. How many times have you heard me say, if they can get it together now, which 7 out of the last 10, they're finally healthy, things are starting to come together, then everything, all the hardships in the early season will make all the sense in the world. Remember, first-year head coach, a bunch of new role players, first-year upper management, first time Tatum and Brown were asked to be the 1 and 2 without a number 3 all-star. So a lot of firsts for these guys. But otherwise, Jags to Riches, James Peters, thank you so much for your time, guys. I hope you have an incredible conclusion to your day. Take care, guys. Atlanta Hawks tomorrow night, Friday night. Go Celtics.